Welcome in. So, as I said, just jumping straight into it. How you doing, man? How's the life? What's new with
Life's
you?
been life's been good, man.
I'm glad to hear it. So, if I let's just start this straight off the bat. This was entirely your idea. Apparently, you saw or heard a description of the movie Your Name, and it immediately reminded you of the Lake House,
hmm
and you thought it'd be fun to chat about. So, what was your previous experience seeing the lighthouse, and when you heard about Your Name? Like, just give me all of your thoughts.
Well, the previous time watching Lake House was like years ago, but it always stuck with me. It
Yeah,
was a it was a movie that when I was a teenager, because this came out in like 2006, 2007.
correct.
Uh, it was a movie that my mom was very much interested, so she kind of got me into it. But when
Mm,
I saw it, I thought like, oh, this is actually a really interesting concept. You got two people uh, across different, across years at different points in time, falling in love with each other by sending letters to each other. It's a very interesting, very unique way of doing this kind of story that I'd never really seen before up at that point. And then when I saw the this video that you recommended to me about some of these anime projects, one of them was obviously Your Name, and I
mm.
saw the description for it in that video. I thought, huh, this feels a lot like Lake House. So I watched that, and I thought, wow, this is actually a really good movie.
Mm.
Especially for a full length animated anime film.
Oh
Very,
yeah.
yeah, very dramatic,
Mm.
very, uh, you know, just classic teenage romance, but with a little touch of sci-fi thrown in there. Obviously, the circumstances of the um, connection at different points in time, are clearly very different. One has to do with a mailbox. The other one has to do with uh, comet.
Mm.
And, and I do like the idea that the comet is what has that effect on the two teenagers in Your Name, but I still kind of feel like the way how they did it with the mailbox in Lake House simplifies it a little bit more. You know.
A little bit. And yeah, they both have very similar gimmicks and run along kind of the same course as far as like their plot structures go. But I do find it very interesting that both of them kind of, as far as like the writing goes, they both kind of hinge on that concept I brought up last time we were here when we were discussing Gunbuster, where it all kind of boils down to a single question or like a single plot device that the whole thing hinges upon.
hmm
Sorry, give me once. Um, but yeah, so without these particular plot devices, the story structure simply wouldn't work, at least not in the way that they do in both of these movies. And they're both very interesting, or in that way, just because like I haven't seen anything like this in any other movies. It's just these two, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, it kind of just made me think of how like when you compare the original Freaky Friday with teenage Jodie Foster from the 60s to the one from the 2000s with Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee
Mm,
Curtis, at
yeah.
least in the one with Lindsay Lohan, they have something that explains how the switch happens. But in the original one with Jodie Foster, it's just like they just say out loud, "I wish I could switch places with her," and then the mom and daughter just automatically switch bodies right then and there, which is
Mm,
like, okay, that just happened out of nowhere.
yeah.
And
Which is actually something that I noticed happens in Your Name very early
yeah,
on. Yeah, very early on, the young lady, she's very dissatisfied with her lot in life. She
hmm
doesn't want to live in this kind of backwater town for the rest of her life. And at one point, very early on, she yells out to anybody that'll listen, like, I hate my life. If like when I'm reborn, please let me be a teen, like be a boy in Tokyo. And that's who she winds up like swapping consciousness with.
yeah, it's interesting, but I can't. It's been a while since I seen the movie. Did he wish something like that as well, or was it just her?
I was just her.
That's
And
interesting.
we do have a little bit of an explanation to it, or at least a reference to similar things occurring with her mom and grandmother, and that's
Mm.
kind of tied to their association with the temple.
Yeah, I think I remember that now because I know I still remember the part about the temple being also a factor into it. It's like the
Mm.
central point that kind of holds everything together. It's like the comet is what sets everything off, but it's the uh, it's the temple that is kind of like a central point, sort of like how in oh what's this is a really bad example, but like how in Dial of Destiny they say how there's like specific fissures that open portals through time and stuff like that, but you got to find out where they are because it's like specific
Yeah,
points across the globe.
or like in another terrible example, Ghostbusters 2016, where all of the sites or spiritual sites that the ghosts are strongest are on ley lines.
Is that the one with
All the
is,
ladies.
okay,
Yeah.
because I know that the one Afterlife came out around the same time, like 2018, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was wondering if that was the one you were referring to, which is like that one I did watch. I haven't watched the one with all the ladies because it's like I'm like as bad as everyone says it is. I'm like, okay, then I'm not gonna waste my time
it
with that.
if you pay attention to the dialogue, it especially during like the scenes where what's her face is trying to explain the science, it's retarded.
It's science fiction. They got to come up with some.
It's not even science fiction. They're just throwing out terms that they don't understand because they don't think that
Okay,
their viewers are going to either.
yeah, I get
It's
that is true. I mean, that's the
yeah,
definition of
it's
bad writing right there. You just think like, oh, I can come up with some weird scientific sounding word and people will take it seriously because they're too dumb.
they'll use stuff like if I put a Faraday cage around it, it'll increase our platonic flexibility. What?
Like, does the name Faraday have anything to do with ghost hunting at all through in some historical capacity? I don't know, but I
Well, a
guess
Faraday cage is used to enclose an area so that radio signals don't get out. Platonic is to not have sex with somebody, and flexibility is has nothing to do with either of those concepts.
yeah, yeah, it's all just a bunch of big words. But yeah,
Pretty much.
I mean,
But
uh,
yeah.
yeah. So
See?
that is kind of what I got from that. The whole point of the temple in the movie.
Oh yeah, no, it's a really interesting concept, especially if you take the time to really like kind of dig into like the spiritual references, the stuff like knots. There's the whole concept of what is it here? Misubi. It's the what is it? Has something to do with the tying of knots and binding together like spiritual forces within people. It's the entire concept of like the red thread of fate that ties bodies
Right.
together.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, pretty cool stuff. And I love how the actions that they perform in the temples, creating all of the little intricate knots and stuff, are used to symbolize that interconnectedness between people.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. It's
yeah.
definitely got some very unique um world building elements, but or more specifically the rules of the um I guess there's no other word to call it, like magic or something. Yeah.
Well, this is one of the things. Like the magic itself isn't really like explained or really expanded
Yeah.
upon at all. All we know is that these two characters are swamping their consciousness
Yeah.
when they go to sleep. But the fact that it all ties together with actual like Shinto belief system is pretty cool.
Yeah. I guess
Yeah.
I guess I'd have to look into that to see if it has some bearing in that particular religion or
Mm.
culture or way of thinking and such.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I would
Japan's a
imagine
really
so.
interesting place.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah. So, which one of these would you like to go through first?
Well, let's do your name first.
Okay, consider it done.
Yeah.
Okay. So, starts off very strong with the animation. Like
Oh
that's one
yeah.
of the things that these guys are particularly known for. This studio is incredibly detailed and just stunning animation.
Yeah, it was really, just really on spot and just very the detail, the attention to detail and everything in these images is just beautiful. And also the lighting, how they get
Mm,
the misty elements and effects in there as well with the sun flare flashes and also like the comet there and
yeah.
how it I mean that's the great thing about animation that you'll never really get in live action is the colors in an image and how they really sell the emotion. And
Mm,
one thing I can definitely say is that the Japanese are really, really, you know, in many ways they're the best at this.
yeah. Now, a little while ago, I heard a really good way to describe, animation in general. It is the art of exact expression
Yeah.
because you aren't limited by, one's ability to like perform in the moment. You
Hmm.
can you can take as much time as you need to get down to make the final result as perfect as you want. And
Hmm.
in stuff like this, like it really shines through.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's why there's just some things when you see them try to do uh something that was done in animation but transition it to live action, it just doesn't really work, especially because you have a scene where a character really s- you know goes over the top with their expressions and their emotions that you just you just can't get that in live action, and it just has does not have the same effect. It just
One
feels
hundred
so
percent.
much more, which is what you see now with all these remakes. I mean, yeah, you they just cannot recreate that same effect, and they never will.
Nah, it's pretty pathetic. The fact they
All,
keep trying, like they're not
all
going
they
to improve on them.
no, no, all they can do is just try to mimic it as best as possible with in a live action setting and try to make it feel real, which unfortunately diminishes the fantastical element of the stories. You
Mm,
know, as like when I saw the first trailer for Moana, it's
yeah.
just a shot
Oh,
for
the live
shot.
action one.
Yeah, yeah. Just a shot for shot live action version of the animated film. And I'm like, well, what's the point? Because it looks like a much more blander version of the original.
I completely agree. Completely took like all of the charm out of the original version.
Yeah. And then it's just but yeah, seeing these images right here,
Mm,
it's so much different from what you'll see in a in a American studio animated film. Yeah, it's that's one of the things I really appreciate about the film system in Japan
mm,
is that it's so unique to them because they don't really hold themselves to the same standards as the studio system here in America. I mean,
mm.
they still prioritize the quality of both the story and the animation.
Yeah,
Uh,
100%.
yeah,
Yeah,
and they
they.
yeah.
I was
Go
gonna say
ahead.
that they set their own standards, and everybody else kind of fails to live up to them.
Yep.
Yeah, but, yeah, those opening shots are just stunning,
Oh yeah.
and we kind of get this funky intro thing now. As I mentioned earlier, there's this Eastern concept of the red thread of fate,
Hmm.
and if you look at her hair, you know,
Yep. She's got a
yep,
red. Yeah.
that is the thread that binds them.
Yep. It's like it's starting to reach out, and yep.
Mm. But it physically plays a part in the story because as you know, or as you see, she wears it in her hair for most of it, but in his time, he's wearing it around his wrist, even though he doesn't really know why.
Yep, yep. It's always a nice little foreshadowing. Nice little bit of foreshadowing to have.
Yeah, that's just a fun little part of the plot that most people. It's just a little detail that most people aren't going to pay attention to until it really plays a part.
Hmm.
Then we get these opening shots of what the hell's going on, because they just jump straight into it, and
Yeah,
this guy, he has no idea what the fuck's going on.
yeah. This is the boy in
Yep.
her body. Yeah,
Yeah.
because
So
I
this
thought I
is.
remember. I
I would
thought I
say this
remember
is
it's. So go ahead.
okay. I would say this is the young man's name is Taki, and her name is Mitsuha,
Right.
and so his consciousness is currently in her head straight off the bat.
Yeah.
But you were gonna say
Yeah.
something?
Well, I mean, I thought like at the movie started off with her waking up,
Mm.
still in her body, and then like her grandma and her little sister are talking to her like, "What was up with you yesterday? You were acting really weird." And she's like, "What are you talking about? I
Yeah.
don't know what you're talking about." Maybe I got that confused. Oh boy.
Yeah. And
Oh boy.
yeah, like in the past, you've asked me to warn you if there's any nudity. There wasn't any here, but it does play a little bit of a. There's
Yeah,
a bit
it's like,
going on here.
well, obviously it's a boy in a girl's body. I mean, it's like if you had that weird experience where all of a sudden you woke up like this. I mean, yeah, it's like uh, I guess it's understandable that be your first reaction. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's like, oh, I got boobs now. It's like,
Oh no, this is
but then,
amazing.
but yeah, I don't. Yeah, we could kind of like just skim over that part.
Okay.
Is it is kind of it obviously we know that the Japanese like to yeah, don't see anything, thank God.
Nope.
You know that the Japanese like to mess around with that stuff sometimes. You know, more
Sometimes.
well, yeah, okay, more times than they probably should.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's
that's a difference of opinion, but it's all right. You are more than welcome to feel however you want. And
but
there's
yeah,
that red
this is
thread.
yep, red thread, and then getting ready for school.
Yeah. And little do we know, this is the next day.
Oh, this is when she's back in her own brain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because in the previous day, her hair wasn't tied up. She had bad head. She was acting weird. And now her classmates are like, okay, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
And she's just kind of piecing together whatever the hell happened.
Yeah. Mm. You have to think about how most of this, all of these different characters, for the most part, in these scenes, are still being drawn by somebody's, drawn by hand.
Mm.
Obviously, it's done on a touch screen like a Wacom or something, or an iPad, but it's still the hours that go into all of this detail with the lighting and the shadows and the
Oh,
background
yeah.
and the trees and all the little details and all the characters. This is what animation really should be. The
Mm.
best kind of animation is like just you put in the work and all the hours because the final product, you see the effort and the passion that the artist put into it.
Yeah, 100%. And as I said, these guys in this particular studio do not fuck around. But yeah, we
Yeah.
learned about her relationship, even though she's living with her grandmother, who works and cleans up the temple. This is her dad. He is the mayor, and they are a bit estranged.
Yeah. Politics will do that to you.
But then we got little bits of foreshadowing. Now they don't translate this, but it asks, "Who are you?"
And she's like, "Wait, who are you?"
Right?
And this of course is also another little reminder of Lake House for me. Like
Mm,
leaving little notes
yeah,
for the other person. Like,
yeah, and I suppose the proximity to a big old lake probably reminded
yep,
you. Yeah.
yep,
Uh, but then we start off with this little Japanese lesson where she's talking about how the words for twilight and the question, who are you, or what, or who is that, kind of overlap and have their own etymological like root that they kind of both spring from, which is pretty interesting.
Yep. I've always wondered what it would be like to be a student in a high school in Japan.
Really?
But I'm sure it would be very different from the school. Well, obviously it's going to be way different from the school system here in the U.S. There's no question about that.
Oh, for sure.
But
Because there's no summer school, or there's no summers, period. You have to wear a uniform. It's basically just a loop that feeds into itself, so you never really get time off.
yeah, we're spoiled
Fun
over here.
times. Yeah, we are. Yeah, now everybody. This is my flashback to the day before where she's just being super weird.
That is a pretty crazy looking image of her.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'd be scared too.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, then.
Yeah, this is really cool, and just I mean, also the difference between their environments. She lives out in the country, and he lives. The boy lives in the city. Major.
Yeah. Just before this, was it Tessie here? Asked if they'd like to go to a cafe. There's just a vending machine out in the middle of nowhere. Because that's their version of a cafe. Like they don't have, like, they actually take the time to explain. They don't have a dentist. They don't have like, I forget the other thing, but they have 2 pubs, and that's their version of a cafe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm honestly never really thought about Japanese people having coffee. I never thought I guess it never crossed my mind that they drink that stuff over there. But I guess I shouldn't be surprised. Everybody drinks coffee.
Yeah, everybody drinks coffee. Everybody drinks beer. Everybody drinks tea.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm more even, yeah, go ahead.
I would say even like little bits like this, they had no reason to go as. Nobody would have blamed them if they kind of cut back on the details here. But even the bits that are out of focus, it's just fucking amazing. And she's trying to figure out like the point to why they're doing all this.
And you got her sister and her grandma. It's nice. It's really interesting how they show the interactions between her and her sister and her grandmother, who, it's very real family dynamic.
Yeah. And like over in Japan, they still have like families that'll dedicate their entire lives to the absolute perfecting like a single craft. And in this case, they're maintaining their shrine and doing their knots and stuff. And like, if you look at the like details of like the tools that they're using, like that's very old school stuff, and they're very dedicated to like the preservation of their culture and why they do this stuff. It's very, very interesting to imagine. Like, there are still people to this day that will dedicate their entire lives to like the production of like a bow and arrow and being able to fire it like the best in the world.
Yeah, like, I see a lot of videos like that, especially of Japanese printers, like how they used to do that with where they use a lot of like stamps with the ink.
Yeah,
and they still also use the paint brushes and everything like that. It's kind of like those. It's mainly videos that are ASMR, very soothing.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
nice.
Very calming, very relaxing, that kind of thing.
I don't listen to it often, but I do enjoy some ASMR.
Yeah, I mostly like to listen to scenes from movies, or like every once in a while listen to Bob Ross. He'll put you to sleep.
Oh, nice. But yeah, like just this simple little hole setup,
Yeah,
and she's
that's
explaining to him the concept of Misubi, and again the interconnectedness between all people, at
right.
least the ones that touch our lives.
Right. And then this is her friend. Uh,
Hmm.
I forget his name.
Tessie.
Tessie.
It's just like a nickname or a shorter version of his last name.
Yeah, that was a really cool setup he's got there in his room with all those
Yeah,
all those radios and everything.
yeah, old CRTV.
Yeah,
He's got his action figures and stuff. It's pretty cool. Oh, he's
yeah,
got a little
typical.
constellation like map. That's
Oh yeah, that's right. Typical teenage boy's room.
tissues and all. But then we got this, ceremony that she's having to participate in,
Mm.
which again took the time to look up. So this whole process is to create something called kuchi uh, kamizaki, which is to make a chewed rice wine.
Hmm. Wow.
The idea being that you just chew up a bunch of rice and then kind of spit it into a container that'll be used to make sake, and that way it'll be like when it ferments, it'll have a little bit of you in there, so that if somebody else drinks it, it'll have like that kind of more intimate connection.
Interesting. Well, good thing I don't ever really plan on drinking sake anytime soon.
Well, maybe not theirs, but man, this that scene I mentioned earlier where she's just shouting out to the void that she hates her life just because of how monotonous and boring everything is.
And her little sister is there hearing her scream at the sky and everything.
Mm.
And now we're introduced to Taki.
Yep, or at least his body, because this is her in it.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, she got her wish.
Yep, and now she's wondering where her tits are. And what's this thing between my thighs?
It's kind of like a Jack Black in Jumanji, and the girl Bethany was all like, "I'm an overweight middle-aged man," and then
No.
then they're like, the guys are like, "I gotta take a leak," and she's like, "I've been dreading this all day, but so do I." And then she's like, "Oh my God, there's literally a penis attached to my body." Oh man,
God.
as
Yeah.
weird as that is, I could still see the humor in it because it's not like yeah, you can read into it like it's something to do with the whole transgender mess and all that stuff, but this is like it's not
I don't
that
think that at
really.
all.
Well, I mean, I it's like in 2016 when that film first came out, and you had all that stuff going
Yeah.
on in the media, and then this
Yeah.
comes out, and it's like, oh man, I know they're gonna go that way, but then I saw the movie, and I'm like, it's not really like that. Thank God.
Nah, I wouldn't nah. Like I said we don't deal with that nonsense over here.
No.
But yeah, but look at the like his posture.
Yeah,
Like
it's very feminine. Feminine.
very, and that's part of the attention to detail that they put in when they made this film is like the way that they talk, all of that. Okay, if we're getting into pronoun stuff, there's a shit ton of pronouns used in Japanese that affects whether or not somebody's gendered one way or the other, and they paid really close attention when they were making this film, so that if Mitsuha is in Taki's head and refers to herself in any way, shape, or form, then we'll use like an effeminate pronoun, and that really throws people off initially.
Yeah.
But yeah, like even that so feminine.
Yeah, just the way he's bending forward and has his hands like this, like
Mm.
yeah. I forget how he got that bruise on his face or cut, whatever it is.
I think it's because he fell out of bed
Oh, okay.
and just smashed his face.
Mm.
They're very soft over there. But,
Mm.
but yeah, even this bit, like look at his reaction to his buddy holding on to him. It's like, like oh no,
Like, I
I
didn't
don't
give
know you.
consent.
I don't know you.
He's like, why is this weird guy I don't know putting his hands on me? I didn't consent to this.
Mm. And yeah, because she has no idea what the fuck to do with
Yeah.
like over here, like it's completely unprepared, has no lunch or anything. Is again using the weird pronouns and really getting a lot of confused reactions out of his boys here.
Yeah.
Looking at the menu, being like, "Oh my god, I could eat for a month back home with this at these prices. What the fuck?"
Yeah. Very different than when you're living in the city. Everything's more
Mm,
expensive.
yeah.
Oh man, and everybody taking pictures of their food. Oh come on. I never understood, it's like it's like everyone thinks that they're a food critic and they're promoting a restaurant because of the pictures that they take. Just eat the food.
So far, I've only met one of these psychos, and or at least I thought there were. But apparently, she and a friend of hers had gotten into like a weight loss pact, and were sending each other photos of the food that they were consuming to keep each other honest.
Oh, okay.
But this would be like going to a Michelin star restaurant for the first time in your life or something.
Even if I did, I'd be more like, I just want to eat the food. I don't, you know,
I hear you, bro.
it's like, because I'm
But
probably never going to come back to this restaurant ever again.
probably. But then he gets a call from, or at least a text from work, being like, "Dude, you're late." Like asking his buddies, "Where do I work?"
So
Immediately gets thrown to the deep end.
yeah, see, I'm glad I've never had this kind of job before because I could, having to go back and forth doing
Mm,
orders with all these customers and everything and all the little details you got to remember, it would just drive me nuts.
yeah. Plus, yeah, you actually have to be a professional while these people are being absolute jackasses. Like this guy's
Yeah.
trying to get a meal on the house because he like stuck a toothpick in the side of his pizza and he was like, "Hey, this was cooked in here." And he's like, "We don't have toothpicks in this building." So
Yeah.
clearly you're a fucking liar. And yeah, that thankfully the the hot coworker here, forget her name off the top of my head, but she pops up and kind of takes the lead and like, "Okay, I'll take over for you. Just head off in the back."
Yeah.
But this fucker actually, like, I don't know if it's right here, but yeah, he actually cuts her fucking skirt just to
Uh,
rub some salt in the
yeah.
wound.
Yeah, you're always gonna have, you're gonna have a-holes like that every once in a while. It's
Mm,
more times than most, unfortunately. But
yeah,
yeah, it's something that a lot of waitresses have to deal with. Yeah.
sadly, yeah. That's why you
Yeah.
always got to treat them nicely because not everybody does.
Yeah.
But yeah, then some of her coworkers noticing fucker cut her skirt, and Mitsuha kind of takes her off into the back and takes the time to actually sew it back together.
Yeah, which is like her little talent that her grandmother
Mm-hmm.
taught her, so it comes into play nicely here.
Yeah,
But
well,
then
she's
she's
just
like,
cute.
but then the girls, probably thinking like, where'd you learn how to do that?
Yeah, because that's probably outside of his wheelhouse for sure.
Yep. And of course, like this girl supposedly has a thing for the boy, I think, right?
Well,
Or at
it's
least she's
it's
kind of
actually So he definitely had like a crush on her because she's like the hot coworker, but he
Right.
didn't have the confidence to like talk with her.
Of
And
course,
it's not till Mitsuha gets into his body that they can kind of like form a bit of a bond, and she kind of sets him up on a date later.
right. That's right.
He wakes up and like, what the? Why's she sending me photos?
Yeah. And it's like, it seems to be kind of working out in his favor.
Mm,
But yeah, it's the twists just keep on coming, and the switches keep happening. You get a nice quick montage of all this stuff, and but of course his friends are like, they're like, "What was up with you yesterday?" And he's like,
mm.
"Now you're back to your regular self, but yesterday, it was like you were a completely different person."
Yeah, they were weird as hell yesterday. And we can kind of speed through this a bit because, like, yeah,
Yeah.
everybody's all jealous about how the hot chicks are treated.
It's too bad. It's too bad. It's not like Dragon, the Bruce Lee story when Bruce Lee was working in that restaurant and the waitress,
Mm,
obviously comes on to him, and then the other guy's jealous, picks a fight with him, and
yeah.
they're out in the yeah. That's one of the best scenes in that film. It's like, hey, you steal my girlfriend.
She's not your girlfriend, man. Come on, chill. But yeah, we get through this long compilation where they're kind of feeling each other back and forth, kind of get a grasp of the situation, and trying to set rules for each other. Trying to make things work as well as possible without fucking up each other's lives. Because like at some point
Which
he like,
which obviously they're gonna end up doing, one way or another, whether they want to or not.
well, yeah, like different personality types. There's going to be a learning curve on both sides. But they wind up leaving notes and stuff on each other's phones, little diary entries and little messages on each other's like hands, arms, and faces occasionally.
Oh man, keeps just messing, feeling the boobs and everything. I was like, and the sister's walking in,
Yeah,
like, what
it
is
was, that can
wrong
be a
with
little.
you?
Yeah, but she's spending all sorts of money that he's probably been
Yep.
trying to save on this decadent food she's never experienced before.
Yeah.
He's
And he
fucking
wakes
up
up.
the. Hmm?
Well, he's like, then he wakes up, finds out that he just most of the money in his bank account is gone.
Yeah, but on the other side, he's actually taking the time to carve out this little like chair and table setup so that they can actually have a cafe of their own rather than just sitting on the bench.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe maybe at least build a nice little canopy or something.
Well, they got an umbrella.
Yeah, canopy would go a long way.
Well, there's only so much one guy can do in a day. But yeah, actually bonding with the hot coworker, still dealing with nonsense. Like, do not fuck with this. Calling each other idiots on their faces.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and that was a pretty comedic bit because like this is like the third or fourth time he's woken up and done this, but now he's kind of getting used to the changes, and he's like, "Oh, I shouldn't do this. It wouldn't be respectful." Walks
Yeah,
in, he's
but
doing it anyway.
and of course the sister just keeps walking in like, what is wrong with you? Why do you keep doing this?
Right?
And of course this is where the grandma takes them to the temple, right?
Mm-hmm. Where
Yep.
well, it's not the temple, it's the meteor site.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but she's taking the time to explain, Misubi, the whole concept of interconnectedness and all that.
Yeah.
Which again,
And
beautiful details in here and that.
this I think is more CGI than digital illustrations. But that is digital illustration right there.
Yeah.
Obviously the Japanese still use a little bit of 3D enhancements here and there.
Mm.
They still try to draw as much as possible, but you still got to use some CGI to just a little bit to enhance certain things.
Mm. Or at least make it a little quicker for yourself.
That too, yeah.
Yeah. I know they're going to this other meteor site so that they can deposit that special sake that she made during that ceremony. It's just like an offering to the god of time and connectivity.
Hmm. Yeah. Wow. Those
Yeah.
colors are just beautiful.
Right? It's
The
just
fog,
stunning.
the mist. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh
You can look at
man.
that all day.
Yeah, you could. That's you just have some soft music and some like uh effects
Yeah.
of like sounds, the wind, the trees and birds and everything, and that right there is very calming.
Yeah. We can probably get away with a few seconds of that.
そうや、彗星見えるかな。
Right there, even that shot, that's beautiful.
Mm.
It's like a painting right there.
Right? Might
Yeah.
inspire you to make some more illustrations of your own.
That's something I've been working on lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mainly trying to do like a side gig, doing sketches for people in Colonial Williamsburg near where I live. So sort of like what
Mm.
they do out in the theme parks.
All right. So so he wakes up and apparently she's lined him up a date with the hot chick. Hell yeah. She's like, I kind of wish I could have gone on the date myself, but I guess just treat her well.
Well, he's like, well, how am I supposed to do this exactly? And then he sees her and she's like, whoa.
Right?
What is it? It's like sometimes you see animated women and they're just obviously they're drawn to be so much more attractive than real women. It's no.
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of anime really leans into exaggerations to really push forward certain like points or themes.
Mhm.
But here it's very kind of it's a bit more subtle, at least with
Subtle, yeah.
the at least with the designs.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the majority of readers, and the audience of anime is teenage boys.
Not the case. It's actually very widely spread amongst pretty much
Okay.
every demographic over there because, like I kept trying to tell Kyle, it's an entire medium that you can use to express any story that you're interested in, and there's
But yeah,
so
that
much
is
variety
right.
that you can't really like
It's like
narrow
I've heard
it down.
how over in Japan, like something like Power Rangers
Yeah,
it's considered a soap opera over there.
yeah.
It's like
Started
been
over
in
there with the Kaku Rangers,
yeah,
Kamen Rider, and all
but
that shit.
but it's like over here, the studio's like, the only people who watch this are little kids because they're dumb and they like dumb things.
Well, speaking of which, was it Jason Lloyd Frank, the Green Ranger, will have his the original Green Ranger will have his final appearance in a movie. I think either this year or next year.
I think it's coming out this year. Yeah, Legend of the White Dragon. I'm looking forward
Yeah,
to that. I've always
yeah.
loved those guys who did those videos, the Bat in the Sun, with
Mm.
the superpower beatdown videos.
Yeah.
Those are some of my.
I said they did one with both the Green and the White Ranger with Jason Lloyd Frank. I think it was against Ryu and Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
Ooh.
Okay. Of course, one of my favorites is Batman versus Darth Vader.
Hell yeah. Say, I was rooting for Batman all the way, but he did not win.
Yeah, I mean, he did win eventually when they did the alternate ending, but it's like you
Wow.
knew that Darth Vader was going to win.
Yeah, that was one hell of an uphill battle.
He's like Vader just got him hovering with he's got him with the Force and he's hovering over the wreckage of his ship and he's like, you were a fool to think you could defeat me.
Mm.
And And Batman's like, it wasn't supposed to be me. And then all of a sudden you realize he's been waiting for like some kind of EMP to go off to shut down the whatever mechanism they're using to hold Superman, and then Superman comes in and kills him.
Yeah, but here's an interesting little detail. This whole art exhibit is called Nostalgia.
Nostalgia.
Yep, and it is this particular area is labeled Hide from the mountain area where all of the where the little town is that Mitsuha is from.
Right. And this is where Taki starts to get a little bit more interested in trying to find out where this girl actually is, and you know how he can meet her. And it's
Well, like
at least I think that's what happens here, right?
yeah, well, like prior to this, like he might have had half an idea of like the name of the place where she was from, or maybe that would be like an awkward thing to bring up in conversation. But I suppose that is a bit of a plot hole there. But no, he finally recognizes this is where she was from, like what he's been dreaming of this whole time, and yeah, and she's been firmly aware of like his body language and how he communicates with her, because she finds out she thinks to herself, I think we should just call the date here, because like I know you had a crush on me for a while, but now you got feelings for somebody else.
Yeah, she's like, maybe we should just be friends, and he's like, okay, yeah, I'm not really too upset about that.
Yeah, because he knows how he feels.
Yeah,
and that's cool.
Like, I kind of feel a part of me kind of feels bad that maybe something didn't happen between him and this other girl. You know?
Yeah,
but like, yeah, now he's like, I got to find out who this other girl is so I can meet her.
Yeah, and he actually tries to call her because he still remembers her phone number from the other time, but it doesn't connect.
Nope,
it's no longer in service.
And like you see this little moment in her village. They're getting and she's cut her hair.
Yeah, this is jumped ahead quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because little do we know, this is actually I don't want to spoil it quite yet, but this is a very important moment significantly further down the timeline. And sadly, it doesn't go quite how everybody might have hoped. It's the bit of a bit of the meteor kind of splits off and rains down as a comet, and that's the last thing she sees.
Yeah, that was a really cool shot right there of it coming towards her, and you see it in the reflection in her eye. That I wonder how much, like so many of these shots here, like how much they have to do by hand and how much is also with computer, CGI effects and stuff, because the amount of focus and time that goes into drawing a tracking shot like that,
so much time. Holy shit.
Yeah, that is some serious dedication right there.
Yeah, I say like one frame of this would probably take you a day.
Yeah, you think about like the animation in something like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, all the time and effort that they had to put into that, because that type of animation in that film is still in many ways better than any other film they've done since then, where you have 2D animated characters in a live action environment, because of the time that they put into it, the have the believability and the fluidity of the characters' movements. It's just very much you haven't seen anything like that since.
Well, yeah. Let's see, I think shortly after that, they came out with the movies like what was that one with Brandon Fraser? But
Uh,
there was also Cool
Cool
World with
World.
Brad
Yeah.
Pitt,
Cool World.
and but I would argue that even like the first one they did, Song of the South, was significantly more immersive than either of those.
Yeah, but it's like it didn't have like the extra effects with the lighting and the shadows
Mm,
like what they did with
that's true.
Roger Rabbit. It was
Yeah.
still very much just very flat 2D animation, against a live action environment.
Mm,
I mean, it was still very much for that time. It was very innovative. No one had really seen anything like that before, even though Walt Disney had already done animation like that in some of his earlier uh, animated shorts. But most of
mm.
that was with uh, live action characters in an animated environment. The old Alice in Wonderland cartoons that he did. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, um, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? There hasn't been anything like it since. Even like I think you were thinking of Looney Tunes Back in Action with Brendan Fraser, was it?
No, there was something to do with a monkey. I forget the
Oh
name.
yeah, that's right, that's right. I remember seeing it once and I couldn't get
Yeah, it's
through it
like
because
Banana Splits or something. I didn't. Yeah, I wrote it off pretty quickly, but whatever. But
it
yeah,
was really stupid.
yeah. But back to this, he's now trying to draw out as much of his memories as he can to try to figure out where exactly this place is.
Yeah, this kid could be a comic book artist. He could be a
Architect,
construction, yeah, architect, designer, and everything. 'Cause
which
that's, I mean, yeah, obviously it's that's some. I've always loved sketches like that, just plain, rough sketches and concept designs like that.
mm, but I didn't find a frame of it. But there's a poster in the corner of his room that says architect.
Hmm, okay, so maybe that's what he went to school for.
Yeah.
Yeah, we see him here going across the country asking people if they recognize, this town, if they know the name, if they can tell him where it is, and he's got his friends coming along with him because, as weird as they think this whole endeavor is, they still want to stay with him. They want to keep him company, and of course, one of is you got the hot coworker going along as well.
Yeah, but because he's behaving so unusually, they want to just make sure he doesn't get himself into trouble.
Yeah,
And
and then you got this lady who comes up to them, recognizes it, shows it to her husband, and of course,
yeah,
and they're like, "Can you tell us where this place is, where we can find it?" They're like, "You don't remember?"
yeah, he's like, yeah, I was born there. It's called Itamori, and then he gets the bad news.
Yeah,
That whole place was destroyed 3 years ago.
yeah, and like this shot here is just wow, that's so devastating.
Right?
Oh, yeah,
Like, it'd be hard enough if that had been like a place you used to live, but this
yeah,
is something you were actively looking for to seek out a loved one.
yeah.
It's
Well,
just,
he kind of, when you think about it, he kind of did live there.
mm, well, yeah,
Just
but through her
yeah,
eyes, yeah,
through her eyes. But it's like seeing everything that all the people, all the buildings that were once there, now it's completely gone by this crater. All there's left is this crater that
mm,
filled up with the lake water.
yeah.
That's like,
It's a devastating.
yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's also, you know, he's in disbelief. He can't he he doesn't want to believe what he's seeing right in front of his eyes. It's like how could this have happened? And
Right?
I didn't know.
Yeah,
That's a really
and
cool shot right there.
yeah, it is like the light, the shading on his on coming off his head and body.
And the
Like,
clouds too. It's like
mm,
that's like it's like the Japanese actually did the lens flare better than J.J. Abrams ever did.
yeah, uh, like the waiter's leg is out of focus too. just to
Yeah.
kind of make it seem more cinematic.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's really good depth of field.
Mm. But like, even if you're, but when you're thinking about this mechanically, it gets even more devastating because, like, because we know that this is tied to the comet.
Hmm.
I actually took the time to look this up. They're only visible in the sky between 2 and 8 weeks. So after it passes by or lands, like you're done. You can't. You're not going to be able to switch back and get back in touch with her. So he might be completely shit out of luck.
Mm.
And it gets
Yeah.
even crazier when all the text messages and stuff that she saved, they just start disappearing.
Yeah, that's crazy
And-
right there.
And all the evidence of their connection is just gone.
Yeah, it's just that's a pretty messed up thing. If that were actually to happen, and all of a sudden now it's like everything that they left for you is just disappearing. It kind of makes you think of Back to the Future with Marty trying to get his parents back together, or else he's gonna be erased.
Mm.
Yeah.
Man. Moving forward, he's trying to get as much detail into the story as possible. And this is like a reference book with the names and ages of everybody that passed away when the comet hit. And we get these really sad bits where like he finds like her friends' names and eventually finds hers. Yeah, this is Tessay and his lady friend. They both died at 17.
Man.
And then he finds hers, meets just further driving home this unbearable finality to their experience. Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, this is her grandma died at 82, her sister died at 9.
Yeah, that's just a horrible thing to think about. It's like those two people, because obviously they had no idea what was going on with him, and maybe the grandmother did. Maybe she suspected something, but the sister didn't.
Yeah,
And
at least not really.
yeah, and then so he got to basically get to know them as almost as much as he got to know Mitsuha.
And yeah, now he's just trying to come to terms with all this, just still poring over all those books, trying to get as much info as he can.
Well, smoking in an animated film.
Sorry, I'm gonna grab some water real quick.
Yeah, for a second there, I thought, wait, are you smoking too? Yeah, it's like that part from Mrs. Doubtfire. The fact that Pudgy the parakeet has a cigarette shoved into his mouth is morally irresponsible. Again, just another.
Yeah, apologies. I was honestly hoping that it wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, it's
But
okay.
here we
Man.
are. Thank you much.
Yeah, we get this little moment, but this little moment here in just a second between him and the co-worker. And I forgot about this part, the threads.
Yeah, and he realizes that this is the one she was wearing. He's trying to figure out, like, how the fuck do I have it?
Because she made it while she was in your body.
No,
Obviously. Oh no,
actually no. There's a good explanation for that later on.
Oh right. I think I remember now. Yeah, but of course
Yeah.
now he remembers the temple.
Yeah, or the little shrine.
The shrine.
And he's going to that meteor site. where she
Still
left
there.
her, yeah, where she left her wine. I'm just gonna speed through this a bit, but
Yeah.
he finds hers and decides he's gonna imbibe a bit and try to regain some of that connection with her. And
Yeah.
he sees a lot.
Getting a little trippy here.
Yeah, this animation was nuts.
It's great animation. It's beautiful.
Mm.
Just the seamlessness of it.
Oh yeah, and again, like you get to see exactly what happened. The meteor hit, destroyed everybody. All these little flashbacks to her and her whole life. Her mom, telling her that she's going to be a big sister. Her mom sadly passing away shortly thereafter, and the devastation it left on her dad, who couldn't quite form that like spiritual belief system that his wife and her family had. So he kind of leaves him with her grandma and dedicates his life to politics and trying to do what he can to better the world around him.
Yeah. Also, just because of grief and everything, he didn't want to have to. He probably just threw himself into it, so he didn't have to deal with it. Didn't have to be reminded of his loss.
Yeah. Got all these flashbacks to her final moments. And he wakes up on the final day of her life.
And of course,
And
he's like,
he just holds on to her.
it's like he's just got to race against time now, just to save her and everybody there.
Well,
Got to take this chance while he can.
Yeah. But yeah,
And
like,
there's
can you imagine how tightly you'd hold on to somebody you loved and lost, and for whatever reason got the opportunity to see him again?
I can only imagine. Oh, jeez.
He's just so sad touching his own tits. He's coming after coming after the sister. She's freaked out.
Yeah.
But then we get the reveal from the grandma that she actually went through the same thing back when she was growing up. And so did her own mom. So she understands. But even though she understands what he's going through, she doesn't quite believe him that the meteor's going to hit and kill them all.
That's
A bit
interesting.
bizarre.
Yeah, that's interesting. If you believe, if you know that you can switch into somebody else's body, it shouldn't be too hard to believe that this other person who has the same apparent talents as you is telling you this is going to happen.
Yeah, they say. But to be fair, like Mitsuha and Taki are 3 years apart in their timelines. So maybe that was something that the grandmother wasn't aware of. So it seems a little too outlandish. Like, you get the one big question, or you get to ask the one big question for me to accept. 2, it's a little too much, even though.
Yeah.
But they got a plan. They're kind of come up with a way to evacuate the whole area and save everybody's lives. Their plans is to set off some explosives, have the chick here take over like a broadcasting center and sound an evacuation after the bombs go off, while Taki as Mitsuha tries to talk the mayor into backing the plan.
Yeah, and we all know how that's going to go over. They're all going to think they're just a bunch of dumb, crazy teenagers trying to cause trouble on this big day for the festival.
Yeah, and so the mayor naturally, he's like, "I'm going to send you to the hospital. I'll talk with you when you're out." And he's like, "You son of a bitch! You are going to get everybody killed." And he's like, "You're not my daughter." And he's like, this option's out. Like, I don't know what to do now. But
But then he's like, sees these kids, sees the little sister. He's like, well, we got to try and do something. We can't just give up. If anything, just for them, so they still have a chance to live.
Yeah. So she tries to warn the sister to, I need you and grandma to get out, even if nobody else does. I need you two to get out.
Yep.
But it's just not quite believing her.
Yeah. But then, of course, her friends show up, and then they get this crazy idea to.
She gets the idea to go back to the crater, and maybe that way, or maybe some way that'll allow her to get in contact with
Taki.
Yeah.
Maybe, but that's oh, come on.
When Mitsuha wakes up in Taki's body again after dying.
Which is kind of confusing if you think about it. It's like, how is she? What exactly is inside of his brain and inside of his body? Is it her, or is it a ghost or something?
Well, I say the timelines are working a little weird. So they got to the end of the timeline, the first bit. Then after he drank the wine, it kind of gives him back the final day. And now she's remembering the time where she actually took a day off from school and stuff to try to go to Tokyo specifically to meet him.
Right.
While he's desperately going back to the meteor, she's recalling this. And after well,
of course she does eventually come across him. But this is like before the whole thing really started with them switching bodies, right?
Yep. This is, again, 3 years before. So he has no idea who the hell she is at this point.
Yeah.
She just run like a madman. And she tries introducing herself to him, but he's just like, oh, who's this weird girl? After they get off the train, she tosses that his way. And that's how he has it 3 years ahead.
Okay. Yep. Now, of course, there's like like where they're both calling out to each other. It's like they're both there at the same time, but they don't see each other, and they're calling out to each other. They can hear each other's voices somehow. So there's something that's connecting them, and then all of a sudden,
well, that's the thing. Like they can kind of hear each other, but when they run to each other's areas, like they don't see each other.
Yeah,
or
until
go back a second.
Until
and get to that magical hour of twilight where it ties back to that English lesson, and for the first time in this whole story,
they see each other face to face.
And they have like the most honest and awkward conversation ever.
She's like, you touched my boobs, you pervert.
I only did it once. Okay,
Like,
if it was only once. Fucking liar.
Yeah. She's like, what is wrong with you, you weirdo?
Yeah. But then he gives her back
but he's like, you spent a lot of my money on expensive food.
And it was delicious. Yeah, then he gives her back her little thread here.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can see still got a little bit of time left,
You better get moving, guys.
right?
Start
But
doing something.
yeah, they said that they were gonna write, like they have a little bit of trouble remembering each other's names when they wake up. So they're like, okay, we're just gonna write down each other's names, and whatever it takes, we will find each other.
Right.
But she goes to do hers. Time's up.
Yep.
And
It doesn't exactly work on, it works on it in its own way.
kind of say it doesn't work how you like, and you never know how much time you have left. So if
Of
you
course.
remember, like, he's like shouting her name as often as frequently as he can to himself, but after a couple seconds, like, it's like trying to remember a dream.
Right.
Just
And it's the same thing with her as well. They're both
Mm.
trying to just say each other's names as much as they possibly can, just to keep reminding themselves, but it's still slowly fading away from their memory.
yeah, to hold on to the memory. At the same time, she only has however much time left, and she's physically trying to outrun a comet.
Yeah.
To save.
And of course, she's got to try and get everybody out of there, warn them.
And they're just looking at it like, oh, it's beautiful. This is the most we'll ever see of it while it's coming by.
And of course, she and her friend have this crazy plan to break into this this facility.
It's going like, I guess we got to commit then.
And it's like I think it's like a alarm system for explosions and
This is the power station that
okay,
keeps
right,
all
right.
the lights on in the area. The broadcasting system works on a generator, so they'll have like a backup system for it, so they can get everybody to safety. They're like, okay, we got explosions going on. There's gonna be a forest fire soon. We got to get everybody to the school. It's gonna be out of the way.
Yep.
But
But of course,
like,
everyone's
pretty.
still looking at the comet, the thing that's about to kill them.
Right, but they don't know that.
No, they don't. And of course, who's listening? Her dad, and they're like, "We got to find out who's doing this. It's unauthorized. It's probably some stupid prank."
Right. Something's going on, but it's not official. So while he's trying to, one sec. So they set up the plan, or the next stage in the plan. He's going to try to get everybody to evacuate. She's going to go back to the mayor and try as herself. And she's just running like a mad woman. And broadcast chick gets captured.
Yeah.
And so does he. Comet splits off, and everybody else is just watching.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up that everybody else around Japan is watching this, or around the world that's watching it, is all safe. But of course, they have no idea that this one village is about to be completely destroyed. And there's Taki watching it and everything.
Yeah. And all he can do is watch. And there's that shot from the intro.
Yep.
And she's just booking it, but trips, and she falls pretty fucking hard.
Yeah, that something like that could easily kill you if you're not careful.
Yeah, if it hit your head the right way. But then she sees what he wrote, and it's not his name. He just wrote, "I love you."
That's all she needs to push her to keep going.
Mhm.
She can't give up now. Even if it means she's still gonna die, at least she's gonna die trying.
Yeah. And we don't see what she said or hear what she says, but she does confront her dad. And well, God, these shots though.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Mm.
It's like it's mesmerizing, but it's also terrifying.
Yeah. God.
And then of course we got this crazy tracking shot with the with the meteor as it's
Mhm.
plummeting towards the earth through the clouds and everything. And this was a shot from the beginning of the film, I believe.
Mhm.
Oh man, this is just gorgeous. And it's like that would scare me to death.
Well, yeah.
Right there.
It's a fucking mountain coming at you at 1,000,000 miles per hour. Yeah, it's fucking terrifying. And
And then it just keeps falling faster and faster and faster, and then
God, these shots.
yeah, and boom.
Just wipes out half the province here. And everything they've ever known is just gone.
Yeah, this is doomsday level stuff right there.
Yeah. And Taki wakes up on the mountainside with absolutely no real memory of what the fuck just happened. And this is about 5 years later.
Yep, 5 years later. And there's a part of him that still somewhat remembers, but he can't pin it down. And then on this day,
he sees a little bit of something he recognizes. Is trying to hold on to it, but he can't quite remember.
and of course, he can't help but go after this girl and is to find her. And well, not quite yet. Okay.
Well, like he tried to go after her, but couldn't quite find her. Now, at this point, he and his buddies are just trying to get jobs. He's trying to get into like architecture and build, beautiful things to really like be proud of and hold meaning in the lives of everybody around him.
Yeah,
but he's struggling. Architecture's fucking hard, dude. Hot chick from work is married now. Kind of bump into each other, and he's they catch up a bit. But yeah, he explains like there's still something he's kind of holding out for.
Yeah, but we also see that while the meteor still hit this village, that the people still survived.
Mm-hmm.
At least most of them did, I think.
Yeah. And say it's like that's why I was on the news. It was like the 3-year anniversary of this incredible moment where everybody, like, something devastating occurred, but nobody died.
Yeah. And of course, he's completely oblivious to the fact that it was because of him.
Mm. Like, could you remember a dream from 3 years ago?
No. I mean,
Exactly.
I still remember a dream from like years and years ago when I was in middle school. It stuck with me it's like where I'm just floating like 5-6 feet above the ground, and for miles and miles around, everywhere I look, the ground is just covered with snakes.
Oh God.
And I'm just hovering above them, and they're like striking up at me. They're like striking up at me, and I'm just trying to just stay afloat as high as I possibly can so I can I just avoid them. And then I finally woke up. I'm like, I just woke up and I'm like, oh man, that is the worst dream I've ever had.
God, it's Indiana Jones' worst nightmare.
Yeah.
But yeah, but now, he hears some conversation from folks behind him, and he recognizes one of the names. There's Tessie and
Yep.
and the girl. They survived. And even if he doesn't really understand why who they are, like there's a connection there.
It's starting to come back. And then sees her again. Doesn't quite see her face just yet, but
Yeah.
it's getting closer, getting there.
Yeah, like they both kind of look back to each other, but not at the same time. So the connection doesn't quite hit, but they're still in proximity.
And we keeps getting these shots of like time passing by.
Mm.
Seeing them. But go ahead.
I say just going through their day-to-day lives, but then they have a special moment here.
Yep, they're both in different different cars, but they just happen to be driving past each other, and they just look at each other. It's like,
yeah, just for that moment, like they can't quite put their fingers on it, but they know there's something there.
Yep,
and they just book it to each other's train stations.
And then, of course, we get this final moment
where again they just don't like. Can you imagine doing this with a stranger? Because that's that's like this is what their vibe is at the moment.
Yeah, if this happened to me in real life,
yeah,
I would hope that this person at least remembers me somehow, because then I'd feel really embarrassed.
And that's one of the things, like, why they're not like just going for it is because like this is insane.
Yeah. But but they're going up the steps, they walk past each other, and it's like,
come on, man. She's disappointed he didn't go for it, and he's probably beating himself up because he didn't go for it. But they get to the top of the stairs, like, do I know you?
If he didn't say it.
Yeah. Oh,
and she's like,
hey, have we met? And
she's crying because she's like,
and
it's like you see them here now. They're young adults. Before they were just teenagers, but now it's like
they're both like 23.
Yeah, and she's, of course,
she's 26. She's 3 years older than him. Yeah.
Okay, but she's like, even as a hand-drawn anime character right here, she's gorgeous.
Mm. The flashback to Kyle being critical over stuff like the eyes being done like that.
Oh, who cares?
I don't give a shit.
Kyle, Kyle's a great guy, but he's not right about everything either. I know he's probably watching this.
No, there's nobody watching at the moment. That's fine. He'll probably catch up later. It's no worries.
Yeah. Oh, I respect you, Kyle. Trust me.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he is. He's cool.
Yeah.
Go watch his Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade video. It was great.
Yep, I caught it about an hour after you, just based off of our comments.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
and this is where this movie ends.
Yeah, them introducing themselves to each other after all that time.
And this is actually one of those really, when you think about it, perfect endings that you just stop right there and you imagine where everything goes after that. You don't need to actually see it. You can just imagine it, and that's just fine.
Yeah. It's a beautiful piece of work. Absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, I'm glad you got the chance to see it.
Yeah, so am I. Because I don't watch a lot I don't watch a lot of anime films, but
Mm.
I was glad I watched this.
Yeah. Cool deal. So, what are your thoughts overall?
Very, very well done. Beautiful animation.
Mm.
Really great characters and very great writing, as well
Mm.
as the intricate details of the message of interconnection between people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Very, very. I mean, aside from all the little gags of him waking up and groping her boobs and all that stuff, it's a very wholesome story.
Well, yeah. I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't hold that against it, but
I mean, I'm not holding it against it. I'm just saying it's like, of
I'm
course,
just, I'm just saying, but it's not that big
but
of a
it's
deal.
but it's like yeah, it's a very well done, very um just very a tender teenage romance.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how they use like the local culture and stuff to tie together all the themes and really ground them in a way that even people who aren't really familiar with them can understand. It's really well done, in my opinion. Like, I would
Oh
give
yeah,
this a minimum of a 9 out of 10. It's fucking amazing.
yeah. I probably give it an 8, just because
Okay,
I don't usually watch a lot of animes, but I still really would hold this, have this up there pretty high.
nice. I'm glad you liked it. But yeah, and we can move on to the movie that I guess reminded was the
I was
movie
reminded
that
of
your name reminded you of. Yes.
the Lake House.
Indeed. From 2006, if I recall, 10 years before. So, yeah,
Yep.
Your Name is coming up on its 10-year anniversary. This one's coming up on its 20th.
Yeah, it's hard to believe it's been that long.
You gotta tell me, man.
Yeah, this is actually one of those films that I think should get noticed more often.
Mm.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I remember seeing like previews for it when it was coming out back in the day, but I didn't take the time to check it out.
yeah.
Because I was,
We're introduced to our first character, Sandra Bullock's character, who's just leaving
mhm.
the lake house, and then we see Keanu Reeves driving up. But if you noticed, when she was driving away, we faded from like autumn to winter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, just between those two shots here.
yeah. So there's obviously a little bit of time that has passed.
Yeah, yeah.
Driving in his 1950s Chevrolet truck.
All reliable.
Yeah.
God, I love those old trucks. They say they're so efficient that you can stay in the cab with them. Like everything nowadays, where it's all cramped as hell, designed to be like as inefficient as possible.
Yeah, yeah. Just so you know, I may, depending on how much
So,
how much longer we talk about this, I may have to just unplug this microphone and plug in my charger just to keep my
okay,
battery up. So the audio may sound a little weird.
okay. Do you know what the charge is at right now?
That's right. It's at a 45%. So still
Okay,
got a ways
we
to
can
go.
kind of we can still kind of speed through this a little bit if you want.
Yeah, it's okay.
But yeah, we get the look at this house built on the lake. It's
Yeah. It's made
it's
entirely of
made
glass
glass
for
and
the most part.
steel.
Yeah,
Yeah,
glass and steel.
yeah.
No
It's
privacy,
very
by the way.
new, very much inspired by the folks, by the likes of folks like Frank Lloyd Wright, I believe, who made some incredible stuff back in the day.
Yeah. And we get to see where their lives are. Like she's starting out as a doctor in Chicago.
Mm. God, this scene here where like I set this guy up for an MRI. like we'll have access to the room here in 4 hours. He may be dead in 4 hours.
Yeah.
This guy's like, am I gonna be okay? She's like, yes, absolutely. And she's trying to
Fair.
wheel them off to a place where she doesn't even know where to go.
Yeah. Well, it's her first day. She's got to try and act like she knows what she's doing.
Whew, I do not envy that.
And then, like, we get to see where he's working. He's a construction man. You know, he's an architect. He's running
Mhm.
this whole crew. And you got this assistant of his, this redhead, who clearly has a thing for him, following
Oh,
him
yeah.
around. Tells her about the house he just got, and she's like, well, "Are you crazy? That place has no privacy."
Right?
And then, of course, he's showing up.
Yeah.
Going in.
He's moving in.
There's a nice little angle right there. There's some overhead shots.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Good stuff. A little look at the attic and everything up there. Everything in her apartment. And it's over in Chicago.
hmm And then, of course, a
He's got his
dog
dog.
shows up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he'd just gotten a letter from her earlier that she'd left behind, saying like how, talking about like how the house works, and also saying, "I'm sorry about the paw prints. They were there when I got there." And he's like, "What paw prints? What is she talking about? Because there's no paw prints on the little bridge." But
Right.
then this dog shows up.
Yeah. It's dog Jack. And now we got paw prints.
He's like, "Wait a minute, that's weird."
Like, yeah, that's a bizarre coincidence.
And then we get to this little moment with her and her mom where they're just having lunch
Mhm.
together, shooting the breeze, catching up with each other, and
Talk about global warming.
yeah, big subject in 2006.
Yeah, especially right now. Or it's even worse nowadays. Like, I've been dealing with like fucking 90-degree weather over here, and I'm in fucking Seattle.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But then we get this, all of a sudden, this crash that happens with this bus.
Mhm.
She immediately takes charge as the doctor, calling for an ambulance, tries to see if there's something she can do to save him, save this guy
but
that's been hit.
So great details, like the color contrast with her shirt versus everybody else's, so it really draws your eye to it.
Yeah, that is true. Bright, like red, and there's this guy just, man, that's
Just laid out.
yeah, all twisted up and everything in his jacket.
Yeah, God, that's terrible.
Yeah,
I hope you haven't seen anything like that.
Thankfully, no. But then we cut back to Keanu Reeves at his construction site,
showing how good like his managerial skills are. Like, we don't have to wait a week to get this thing done. We can get it done today.
and she's back at the hospital, just absolutely devastated what she just saw.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. By the way, this woman here, if you recognize her voice.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've seen her on House and Star Trek and a couple other places. But she's not one of those actresses. Like, I don't know her name, but I always recognize her.
I don't know how to pronounce her name. I mean, but it's like she was also the voice of Gozer in Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Okay.
Yeah, she has a very unique voice.
Very much so. I know she gives her Sandra Bullock some solid advice. Like, on your day off, go as far away from here as you can. Just go to a place that you can unwind and breathe, be yourself. Something that reminds you of what's important.
Yep. And where does she choose to go? The lake house.
With a surprisingly familiar dog.
Yep. And it just looks like she's like, wait, I thought there was a new tenant coming here, but there's nobody there.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, I've been getting letters, but I don't see anybody here. It doesn't look like anybody's moved in.
Yeah, and in the beginning, she asked whoever moves in to forward her stuff.
And she's been getting her stuff forwarded to her.
Yeah.
But she starts leaving a letter there, and we cut back to him. See that something's going on here with this mailbox. That's when we
Yeah.
start to see that they're talking to each other about 2 years apart from each other.
Well, they haven't quite pinned down the date yet, but yeah, no, something about this is how they're able to communicate with each other.
It's a magic mailbox. And we also now here we get to meet Keanu Reeves' brother, who's played by our new Ben Grimm.
Oh God. And of course his
his-
dad.
Played by the great Christopher Plummer, Captain
Mhm.
Von Trapp himself.
Hell yeah. Who is described just like a cantankerous old man who just doesn't appreciate the work that they put in.
Yep.
And we reunite the brothers.
Clearly, they still have a very strong bond with each other.
Yeah.
He looks so weird here, like that, compared to how he looks now. With that,
A little bit.
he looks so pasty.
Well, it's Chicago. He probably is.
I mean, you see him in the show The Bear. That takes place in New York, and he's got a pretty decent tan in that one.
Well, I don't know. It's been a while since I've been to either of those places. But
yes,
then we get to
but
see
then-
the some establishing shots of his relationship with his dad.
Very
Dad
estranged.
sees him. Yeah, very much so. But his dad sees him after X amount of years and just topples off.
And then, of course, the brothers are hanging out, getting a drink, catching up with each other, and basically talking about like how he chose to go off and just do, basic condominiums and one-story houses, but saying like how you should be doing something bigger than that. You should be, breaking boundaries, tearing down. Taking risks as an artist with your architectural designs instead of just giving up on that.
Yeah, like his brother really understands like the potential that Keanu has to really put it, leave an impact on the world. Yeah.
But then, of course, he says, "Well, I gotta make a stop somewhere while I'm here. I gotta drop off a letter for somebody who used to live where I live," and they go to the address, but it's not there.
It's currently under construction.
Yeah, and the brother's like, "What are we doing here? Does your friend live here?" And he's like, "I thought they did. Want to ring the bell?" Beep.
Leaving it on a construction site.
Yeah.
They leaves a letter in the mailbox and calls it good.
Sounds like I went to this address and there's nothing there but a construction site. And
yeah,
she's like, "What are you talking about? I'm right here in this place."
Yeah, but then they start he also calls out the date. And he's like, "I think you're a little confused because this place doesn't exist and this isn't the correct year." So she conducts this little experiment. She remembers what it was like back then and tells him to expect on April 3rd that it's going to be snowing pretty hard. So you should bring a coat.
Yeah. And also, eat plenty of, fluids and have plenty of fluids and eat hot chicken soup and everything. And of course, it cuts to him. Yeah, it cuts to him in the house, and he's reading the letter. At first, he doesn't really take it seriously, but he's making some soup and everything, making dinner. Sits down, and then Hatsu.
She was right on the money. And they're just swapping letters back and forth.
Yep, and he sees the flag just pops up just seconds after he put it down. And he's like, "Wait a minute, what?" And now he's like, "Is there another letter?" He grabs it.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get to that shot where it kind of goes back up. Because this is an interesting mechanic here.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Whoa.
No way. Why not?
Right.
And then, of course, the dog's watching, and then it pops up again. Shunk.
God.
That's
And
a
it-
really cool car she's got there. Classic.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, that's a Mustang, I believe. But yeah. And now they're trying to come to terms with this thing because it's bizarre.
Yep.
And they're just experimenting, really trying to come to like a mutual understanding because they're not crazy.
No.
The
And then she's
situation
like-
is crazy, but they aren't.
This is a funny scene right here. She's like, maybe we should introduce ourselves. And this guy sitting
Like-
right next to her.
Maybe we should.
He's like, hey, I'm not gonna say no to a pretty woman.
Nah, and Sandra Bullock's beautiful.
Oh yeah. She's always been gorgeous.
Mm.
You know, I believe she almost was cast as Lois Lane in the Tim Burton Superman from the 90s that they were gonna do.
Imagine her acting opposite Nick Cage.
No. Nicolas Cage would have been a terrible choice for Superman.
Well, that's what they were going with.
If anything, just have Keanu Reeves as Superman. I think he would have been a better choice.
Lands on Earth and goes, "Whoa,
He's like,
what's going on?"
excellent, man. And we get a nice little montage of them connecting with each other over these letters over the next couple of weeks. And then, of course, she talks about the dog. She says she sleeps like a person. I call her
Yeah.
Jack. And he's like, hello, Jack.
Yep, and recognizes the name.
But it's technically, he had the dog first before her.
Yeah, which is interesting. And this situation, or with the kid, that got to me a little bit because like her mom's telling her some fucked up shit at that age.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's like, my
Yes.
mom said, my mom broke up with her boyfriend. You know, or like my mom says she likes her boyfriend, but she's saying there's always something better coming around the corner.
Yeah, so she's not going to get married to him.
Yeah, which is kind of really stupid.
The kid's
And then-
like 7.
And then Sandra Bullock tells her, well, if she waits too long, maybe maybe she ends up missing it altogether.
Yeah, which is just facts.
It's interesting
So-
seeing a little kid that age watching an old black and white film from the 50s with Cary Grant and Ingrid Bergman like that.
Yeah,
I guess she's just like, I'm in the hospital. There's nothing else to watch. And then you see them going on like this little something
Yeah.
of a date.
it's a very creative date. Yeah,
Yeah.
because like he says that he wants to go on a walk with her about town, but they can't obviously do it together. So he actually lays out this map of points for her to go visit with little explanations of what's there, why he wants her, just like little memories associated with each spot.
Yeah.
It's a really cool idea.
Yeah. And executed very well the way how it's shot. And there's a lot of stuff about this film when you watch it. It could be very confusing, and sometimes it is, but for the most part, they get it. It comes across very well.
Yeah, it can get a little it can be a little difficult to line up all of like the timing with a lot of it because this spans over across like 2 years, and yeah, so that can
That's
be a
a-
little bit.
I was just about to say that's a really cool house right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I paused on it because Keanu tells a little story about it. Apparently, it's one of the oldest ones in the neighborhood. His father, when he would take him on these walks, would describe it as like the grandmother of all the other houses nearby.
Yeah.
Which that'd be a cool grandma.
Yeah.
Looks very warm.
Of course, she sees this scene. She sees this a little message he left for her.
Again, such a cool creative idea. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta get a frame of this. Where she's like thinking to herself, like she wished they could have taken this walk together.
He's like, Kate, I'm here with you. Thanks for the lovely Saturday together.
Mm. So good.
Yep. And of course, that just makes her day even better.
Right? You imagine somebody vandalizing something for you?
I wish. And then, of course, she's talking to her mom and trying to explain it. And of course, the mom's like, you know, she tells her, look at the date. She's
Yeah.
like, well, what does that have to do with it? It's just a detail.
Right? Yeah, her mom doesn't follow with any of this stuff. Yeah.
And we get this little moment between Keanu and his dad where it's not exactly a bonding moment, but they're trying. You know,
Well, yeah, his dad just doesn't really. He's very set in his ways. He's got his focus, and he doesn't deviate from it at all.
yeah.
It's not coming from a malicious place. It's just how he is.
Yeah, it's sort of like it is a routine, but it's also a sense of this is where he feels most safe, where he feels most sure of himself in his work.
Mm.
He knows he's good at what he does, and that's why he's been doing it as long as he hasn't retired.
Yeah, because he's one of those few people in the world. Like architecture is one of the most niche professions on the planet, and he's one of the most successful at it.
Mm-hmm. And of course, they're talking. I forget what they're talking about here.
So they talk a little bit about why Keanu left,
Right.
and this is after I believe his mom passed away. They don't explain it at the moment. He just says that he needed to leave and take the time necessary to either forgive or forget.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad asks if he pulled off either, and he said no. So there's some lingering stuff that hasn't been expressed yet.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious. With this kind of relationship that we've seen plenty of times before in other films, but the chemistry between Keanu Reeves and Christopher Plummer, this is a very they play the estranged father and son very well. You definitely, so. You definitely believe that they are father and son, and while Keanu Reeves is really still trying to connect with his dad, and Christopher Plummer obviously is having a hard time with doing that. Like you said before, he's set in his ways.
Yeah, he is not up for negotiation at all.
No.
And that's what makes their relationship so difficult. Is Keanu is being forced to adapt to somebody that it's very painful to work around.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to justify, persevering with relationships like that. And yeah, too many examples of that come to mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just kind of ends on the note of just saying, no, I haven't forgotten or forgiven you yet.
Yeah, a little bit more of Kate with Jack in their apartment.
That is a smart dog.
That looks like the dog from this old movie I used to watch in the 90s, Zeus and Roxanne.
Yeah.
You remember that?
I do not. And
it's like a dog just like that one, and a dolphin that are friends.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But here we get this nice little moment where he does something for her. She says how she misses the trees by the lake house, and he decides to bring one straight to her and plant it right out in front of the place where she's going to live. And then all of a sudden, in her time.
Yeah.
And plus the effect that they use for it, yeah, that effect right there, that transition is just it's just really, I think, the best version of that, because it's like in so many other versions you'd see like a weird glowing fairy dust kind of magical transformation.
Yeah.
But
Or like if it was like a frame by frame thing where it was just there the whole time and just popped in there out of nowhere.
yeah,
Like that would be a little too jarring, but that's a really good middle ground.
yeah,
It's
it
not
is.
showy, it's not jarring, it's just there. And then she's just confused as fuck because that just happened. Like, what the? And he's satisfied with himself.
Yeah. And
She goes
she's
to-
going to
Yeah,
see
she's
her
going to see her
mom.
mom.
And talk about her dad,
Mhm.
the relationship that her mom had with him.
Yeah.
And here he starts hanging out with his brother at the house, and apparently their dad was the one who
built
designed
the
this
place.
house. Yep.
Yeah.
And they lived there for a while.
Mm-hmm. But it wasn't quite finished though.
Yep. Which is saying something about his relationship with his sons, with his family. And then they start talking about, is he ever going to have a girlfriend or anything like that? And he's like, oh, you're going to think I'm crazy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then, we got this
yeah.
some
She
little
remembers-
surprise here.
Yeah, she remembers this specific date back in the day where she lost something at this train station that she would really like back.
And this
And-
is the
Yeah,
this is one of the main differences between this film and Your Name.
Mm.
Because they actually get to see each other. Well, he gets to see her.
Yeah, several times.
Persuasion, Jane Austen.
Yeah, he tries to get her book back, but it's off. So you'll have to get it back to her later.
Yep. But he got to see her, and he's like, "You didn't tell me how beautiful you are." And she's like, "Well, then you must have seen somebody else."
And he describes her accurately, and she's like, "Okay, it was me." Yeah, brown hair, soft, unguarded eyes.
But she's like, "I still don't know. I still don't know you or what you look
Yeah.
like." Because it's like, yeah, she saw him briefly, but she didn't get a good look.
Yeah, and she writes in her letter that he should call her at 9:05 on this date, and she gets a call.
But it's not him.
Nope, it's Morgan, the guy
Her
she was
ex.
making out with on the ex that she was making out with at the train station.
And of course, he tries to impress her here, taking her out on a
Mhm.
date to a really nice restaurant. But it's like, no, you got to have a reservation.
Yeah, it's all
And-
booked up.
And he feels embarrassed. She's like, "It's okay. You know, that's how this restaurant is. Nobody ever gets in here unless they are book a reservation months or maybe a year in advance."
Mm-hmm.
But of course, they start talking about a little something that happened years ago that was part of what caused the breakup. A little incident with another guy. And he's like, "What about that little thing you had with that one guy?" She's like, "Oh, come on. Are you serious?"
Like, I wasn't making out with him. I just kissed him the one time. It's fine. Like-
And who was this guy?
Yeah, they don't really explain it.
Not-
Uh,
Not yet.
no.
And of course, you get this little moment between him and his secretary. She clearly wants him to notice her.
Well, yeah.
You recognize that lady?
Not right off the top of my head.
She was the love interest for Logan in Wolverine X-Men Origins.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I watched that movie like once.
yeah. It's not. It's obviously not the best.
No, that movie fucking sucks. But no, she is gorgeous though. But out of nowhere, Jack goes and runs away.
Yep. And of course,
And he's just booking it.
of course, he's never going to catch up with that dog. He's a
No.
almost middle-aged man, and that dog has 4 legs. Of course, the dog's going to outrun him, but the dog leads him right to Morgan.
Mm-hmm. They have a civil, if uneasy, back and forth.
Yeah.
Which ends with him being invited to his girlfriend's birthday. Weird move, but okay.
Yeah, it's like you just met this guy. You just ran up to after his dog, and you're just going to invite this random guy to a party.
Right? It's a little extra spontaneous, but things were a little more trustworthy about 20 years ago.
Semi, I suppose.
A little bit. Back when we had
Here-
phone books.
Yeah. But here we see Kate with her coworker at this bar, and they're catching up, having a drink outside of the work environment, and then of course eventually she starts telling him about this guy she's been talking to. She's never met him, and then what happens is she remembers something,
Yeah.
and
And she remembers that party.
yep.
And why they broke up.
And of course, we find out she doesn't really like surprises. She doesn't like
Nah, but this shot though.
that face. She's like, "Okay, I guess I'll just smile and go along with it, even though he knows I didn't want this."
Right? But again, it doesn't really focus on Keanu, but he's right there.
Yeah, and he's right behind Morgan.
Mm-hmm. But again, like with the clothing, if they really wanted you to wanted him to grab your attention, they would have made him a little flashier. Here he blends in really well, and you kind of have to look for him.
Yeah, he does.
Again, very subtle work.
But we get to see her, see her moving and talking to everybody at the party. He introduces her to Keanu, and this girl, just met this guy.
Yeah, and it's kind of a really awkward way to do things, because he's taking the lead at her party and introducing her to everybody when she didn't want to be like this in the first place. It's very inconsiderate.
Yeah, it is. I get it. He thinks he's doing a very loving gesture, which I believe that's what he is doing. That's what he's trying to do, but he's completely ignoring how embarrassed she probably feels, or just how not embarrassed. That's the wrong word. Just how it just threw her off.
Well, it shows that he doesn't have he doesn't fully understand her.
Yeah.
And understand why they aren't really that compatible.
Yeah. And of course here we get this nice little moment between her and Keanu where he's trying to approach her, trying to talk to her.
Yeah, but not in a weird, overly familiar way. Because this is, again, 2 years prior to whenever they started talking initially. So he has to make his approach correctly.
Yep. And they start connecting over Persuasion and Jane Austen. And then
he asked her to explain what it's about.
Yeah. And it ties into this particular story.
Yeah.
About how you have these two people who are separated by time and circumstance, but eventually they find their way back to each other.
Okay. Well, in Persuasion, basically a young couple meet, and kind of have feelings for each other straight off the bat. And due to circumstances of their class, the young lady's family and especially her friend advised that she doesn't pursue him. That
Right.
it just wouldn't work out between them. He's too low class for her, and yeah, he wouldn't. They want her to, make something more of herself. That she's not going to be able to like live the comfortable life she wants if she, hooks up with him. So she turns him down. And years later, he's spent X number of years in the Navy, and he comes back, and he's even above her class now, but still holds some resentment towards her. And
Yep. I've seen
But-
the some of the BBC and BBC series of adaptations of that story.
nice.
They're- it's a very, very interesting story. Obviously, all of Jane Austen's stories are really good.
Yeah, they're classics for a reason. They're better than Bronte sisters.
Never seen any movie adaptations of any of their stories, but I have heard them referenced in another film that I recommended for you, The Rewrite.
Oh yeah. Just know that like there's a reason all of them are like in the halls of classical literature, and it's not due to their talent. It's all family relations. Because what are the odds that 3 classical authors would be immediately related to each other?
Oh, they were, huh?
Yeah, they were all direct sisters.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get this nice little moment where very soft romantic song starts playing, and they start dancing.
Yeah, she asks if she would like to sing it sometime. He's like, nobody wants to hear me sing. Like, well, how about a dance then?
I think that's kind of a little reference to when she played the voice of Miriam in Prince of Egypt, and they tried to see if maybe she could do the singing, and of course she tried. It was terrible, and they're like, okay, we need to get a real singer.
Nice.
But they're dancing, and something is starting to go on between them, and of course he can't help himself. He really wants to kiss her, and she clearly wants to
She
kiss him.
Like, I don't know like how often you've danced, but you can get a real intense vibe off of somebody and how they're feeling in the moment.
Yeah, I've only been to a dance once, and it was kind of awkward.
Well, it happens. But
It was like the thing about dances in real life compared to how dances are done in films.
yeah.
Most people in real life don't really dance like that.
Yeah, say a lot of them. At least a lot of the dances I've been to, not so classy, but but this is easy.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
of course they end up kissing.
Turns out he was the guy.
Yep, and
And-
there's Morgan.
Yeah, like, dude, what the
Yeah.
fuck?
Like,
Valid question.
He's like, I invited you to my party, and you're making out with my girlfriend.
Little
And
awkward.
and now we see this moment where it's like they're talking to each other.
Yep.
She's like, "Why didn't you tell me that was you?" And he's like, "I didn't know. I didn't realize that was me at that point." Okay.
Like, yeah, again, this is 2 years prior to us even starting this conversation. It'd be fucking weird to tell me, yeah, I know you, by the way.
Yeah, it's like, maybe I should. Is that what you would have wanted me to lead with? That, hey, I know you because I talked to you from 2 years in the future.
Right? Yeah, that would have been fucking nuts.
Yeah. But now it's like, now that they've basically met for the first time, and oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
His dad is in the hospital.
Yeah, because he had well, they're telling him a heart attack. He tries to write it off as a heart episode.
But there's his dad still working in his
Yep.
hospital room, and he's like, "Ah, don't worry, I'll be out of here soon. They're just being dramatic."
Mm. Yeah.
Typical, typical stubborn old guy in his just thinks he's like, "It's nothing, okay? I'm fine."
Yep.
And then he's like, "Can you get me some coffee? We don't have
Yeah.
any coffee
Keanu.
around here."
Yeah. Keanu asks if there's anything he can do for him, and just says coffee. Like, what? You heard me.
That's a typical artist for you right there.
Some of them, yeah.
And then,
Continuing this
Another-
conversation.
I really like these kind of shots,
Mm.
where it's like that they're able to communicate so well that it just feels like they're really talking to each other in the same room.
Yeah. Well, one, they are in the same room, even if they're in different times, but it really emphasizes both their connection and separation at the same time,
Yeah.
which is very uniquely done. Again, between either of these two movies, I've never seen anything quite like them.
And then we got another
That,
coffee, and we start to see a little bit more. This is a much more lighter moment between them.
yeah. And God. He's actually like showing him some of his work, going over every single, detail of, the lighting and how the lighting in certain areas will affect, the design that you make in the end, that you have to have like an intimate understanding of each area that you're building in.
Yep.
To really do it justice and create something worth making.
Yeah. Because
he may be a complete asshole, but he has a genuine passion for his work.
yeah, and he wants to make structures that will continue to, people will remember, and that will stand out. So that way, they remember the structure, they remember him.
Yeah, and like earlier, we mentioned that when his mom passed away, it was shortly after she had walked out the door and left him, basically. And one of the things that really that really affected his relationship with Keanu was that he said that as soon as she stepped out of that door, she was dead to me, and then hit him with one of this architectural grin, and then we get to see it as he continues this conversation. And can you imagine somebody saying they're hitting you with that expression after saying that about your mom?
Yeah, that's a pretty messed up thing.
Yeah.
It's like if that's really how you felt about them like that, I mean, why'd you even get together in the first place?
Well,
I mean, yeah, obviously you started out in love, but then it all just
they don't explain like the dynamics of their relationship at all. There could be any number of reasons that attracted them initially. Like for him, it could have just been like a purely sexual pleasure, or the fact she was attractive. Maybe she was attracted to him for his money or status. That just didn't have like a healthy relationship dynamic to really found everything on. But yeah, like irrelevant of that, like the way that they fell apart really had an effect on everybody else except for him.
Yeah. It's just another example of Christopher Plummer's great talent as an actor. Sadly, he's one of the other greats that we've lost over the last few years.
Yeah.
And of course, he gives him some advice here about how being an architect is so much more than just the work. It's the artistry.
Mm.
It's
about really like, yeah, it talks about like the soul of his work.
Yeah, it's got to be personal. It can't just be can't just be a job. It's got to be something that makes you feel alive, that you're
Mm,
passionate about.
yeah. And you just see he passed out, and I was gonna call it a night. He made sure his dad was, he made sure that he was there for his dad. But and she gets the date of his death, and it's right around the
October
corner.
6th, October 6th, 2004.
Mm.
And then of course, uh,
She
yep.
she says that she has to leave, that it's an emergency, and immediately books it to send a letter.
But of course, on the way, as he's driving, that's when he gets the call that his dad has passed away.
Yeah.
She feels terrible. She wanted to maybe warn him and help
Mm.
save his dad, and maybe he gets a
Or
chance.
you're not going to save his dad, but he would give him an opportunity to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Then she
But
does something amazing, and she gives him a book that's going to be published in the future about his dad and his works. And even though like their relationship was so strained and hard, there was some genuine love that he had for his son.
mhm. And that's basically the most healing thing she could do for him. 'Cause
Yeah.
it's like you he feels like, you can only imagine how he feels, that so many things that he never said to his dad that he feels like now he should have said.
Mm.
But this book here just gives him that healing that he needed. You know,
Yeah. Or at
he's
least,
he's still sad and everything, that he missed out on that chance to really, you know, understand that, his dad loved him that way.
mm,
But it's better that he knows this than never knowing it at all.
yeah. At the very least, he can wind up on a final page that it would be more satisfying than the one he would have been without it.
Yeah. There's that photo of him and his dad at the lake house when he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Right after they finish the house, and he just breaks.
Yeah. It's and Keanu Reeves is. It would be so cool to see him in more roles like this now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I love him as John Wick. It's great as John Wick.
Well, I'm gonna say there's a couple of movies that, or at least the one real good suggestion somebody recently gave me. I'll tell you about it. Yeah, after the stream.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, but then we get another letter says, "I want to meet you for real this time."
Yeah, of course, she's debating on whether they should try. He's like,
Yep.
but she's like, okay, let's do it. 2
Yep.
years from now, we'll meet.
Yeah.
And we're
Tomorrow for you, but 2 years for me.
and then
And
he's like,
yeah,
where do you want to go?
Yeah, he sets up a reservation at the place where they wouldn't, or Morgan couldn't earlier. He said, "Yeah, 2 years from now, you can do that." Yeah, cool.
And of course,
And
the lady's confused, but then it jumps to her time, and she's like, "What do you know? Yeah,
yeah,
there was a reservation 2 years in advance." You
yeah,
see her you see her here, just sitting there waiting for him to show up.
yep. Complimentary champagne, just awkwardly waiting for an extended series of shots to really drive home. Like, it really drives home how awkward and disappointing this situation is, because again, he's been waiting 2 years for this. He has no reason to miss it.
But unfortunately,
yeah, he doesn't show up, and she's just kind of left hanging.
And it's basically the point where she says, "Okay, this has got to stop."
Well, yeah, like it's an interesting shot, because, or an interesting scene, because like her disappointment is perfectly understandable. But even given their spectacular situation, like if something happened, she should ask about that first.
Yeah,
I
that is
feel
true.
like I feel like any reasonable person would be like, okay, maybe his car broke, just happened to break down here, or
But it's
something.
like how, but also like because he's 2 years in the past, he wouldn't know what happened.
Yeah,
You know, he
right.
wouldn't be able to explain that. And she's like, well, it doesn't. You know, she's like, well, you just didn't show up anyways,
Yeah.
and it's like as much as I've really loved this whole thing, you know, this beautiful, fantastic thing.
Mm,
I can't keep living, you know, like this. I can't be waiting for something in the past to, you know, come to me. And then she's reminded of that guy that was killed by the bus and saying how like everything can be over in an instant.
yeah. It's just a sad fact of life. Like, God, yeah. One of my neighbor's brothers went on his morning run one day. Never came back. He just got hit by a car while he was out running like he does every day.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in that other film we were talking about,
Mm,
uh, Forever Young, when Mel Gibson's girlfriend just, you know, just gets hit by that truck. It's so unexpected, and,
yeah.
and it's like, eh, it's sadly something that happens every day. So many people just,
Hmm.
they wake up one morning and then they find out it's their last.
Yeah. You gotta hold on to the moment while you can. But yeah, no, she's upset. She doesn't want to ride anymore. She wants to hold on to what's in front of her,
She
and she
asks him
wants
to
him to
stop.
stop riding.
Yep. And then of course he decides it's time for him to leave.
Mm,
You know, he can't stay there anymore because he's just been waiting for her to respond, but she's not going to. So he decides, you know what? It's probably time for me to just, you know, move on to something else.
yep. And he also knows that he's going to have to move out anyway because she's going to move in there after him.
Yep. And this is a New Year's party for her and her friends at the hospital, but then she gets a call
Hmm.
and it's Morgan again.
Yep.
He
Try to
still
make this
wants,
stuff work.
yeah, he really wants to be with her, and she she's just thinking like, you know what? Maybe I'll just go along with this because at least I know him. I know this is real. And you see this shot of the tree that Keanu Reeves planted, and it's kind of like
Yeah.
it's kind of like that last reminder of something that was very special for her,
Mm,
and like him trying to reach out to her one last time, but she chooses to ignore it by kissing Morgan like that, saying
yeah.
like, and then we get this nice little moment with Keanu Reeves and Jack, and then Jack just runs off. That's his signal to basically let all this go. He
Yep.
starts packing up.
Yep. Leaves all of his letters up in the attic. He moves on.
And makes one last stop at Morgan's office, which is this is really awkward.
A bit. I said, here's the keys to the lake house. She'll love it. How do you know what she'll love? Like, just trust me.
And then he walks off, and then Jack
And
shows
Jack's
up.
face.
So that explains the mystery as to how she and him ended up having the same dog.
Yep. See him moving into his new spot, working on these wonderful drawings of the lake house, and has this conversation with his brother about like why he hasn't got a girlfriend or a wife yet, and how much this ridiculous relationship he made with Sandra, like even if I lost it, like it still held so much meaning for him because he's been able to connect with somebody like that.
Yeah. And Keanu Reeves really sells the emotion in that monologue that he has.
Yeah. And my man here, like it hits home.
Yeah, he can tell he can tell his brother is telling the truth, and he feels really sorry for him that he's still all alone.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I know my brother feels something and it's real for him, but
Mm.
I just don't want to see my brother, go the rest of his life without having somebody to share it with.
Yeah. Like it could be better, but at the same time, the reason this tragedy is existing like this is it, there's a reason for it, and I
Yeah.
can't take that away. Great scene. And she's watching that same movie,
Yep.
and fucking Morgan over here being a dick and like, you want to turn that down? But she stumbles upon something.
Turns out he made one last visit to to her
Yeah.
apartment and left that there for her. The book
Yeah.
that she left at the train station.
Yeah. With a little crushed flower. Very symbolic. Very romantic. And I should have written down the passage. Yeah. I got to her.
Yep. And it's once again a New Year's. It's
Yep.
finally 2006 for him.
Yep. And yeah, she's exploring this place, seeing all the potential it could have.
Yep. And
They go
they have
visit.
to-
Yeah, they go visit the local architect to see if they can make something out of it.
and there's like the famous. There's the name that apparently Keanu Reeves had originally
Visionary
come up with.
Vanguard. I think it was his brother that came up with it, but he thought it was a silly name.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's good to see they used it anyway, and that's a pretty solid logo.
Yeah, it is. And of course, who do they meet? His brother.
The brother.
But then it's like now, and we jump cut from there to
Yeah.
2006, and it's Valentine's Day. This is Valentine's Day.
Yeah. This is so this is his brother talking with both of them, in between different scenes. Let's see. Forget the exact date, but so this is Valentine's Day, and the scene with him and Sandra is, I think, so this is 2008 in her.
Yep, 2008
Yeah.
in her time.
Yeah.
This is 2006 for him.
Yep.
Yeah, but he
And
starts
he
to remember
remembers.
something.
yeah, he remembers the date from one of their letters of where she would be exactly.
Yep. And then we cut back to her, and she sees something that looks familiar. It's the lake house where she used to live. And then she's like, "Oh man, who drew this?" He says,
Right.
"It was my brother."
Mm. And she asks, is there any way we can get in contact? And he drops the ball and tells her that he's dead.
Yep.
And
He died 2 years ago this very day.
Yeah.
And she just that face of hers right there is just heartbreaking.
Mm. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that got an audible reaction out of me.
Yeah. I believe it. But then she's
Right.
like, "Where?"
Yeah.
And then she realizes who he was, and now that jacket of his starts to look a little familiar.
Yeah, it does. And she just books it right back to him and tries to do whatever she can to warn him.
And man, that right there is just
Yeah.
She falls to her knees. She's just hoping and praying that he answers the letter, and she tells him it was you.
Yeah. God.
Man, look at that. That is just great acting.
Mm.
And
there she is.
We are. Yep, we're back here. Her mom and her having their lunch, talking about global warming.
Yeah.
And then we hear the voiceover of her saying, that it was you
Mm.
that day. And it's like he's about ready to cross the road. We see the bus coming towards him
Yeah.
as he sees her.
Yeah, he's seems scanning the crowd for just any sign, and then he spots her. There she is.
Yeah.
And the tension is just through the
Yeah.
fucking roof.
He just wants to go over there and just run into her arms and tell her, I found you. And
Yeah.
but she's basically, we hear her narrating the letter that she wrote telling him, don't look for me, wait for me for 2 more years,
Mhm.
and then come to the lake house.
Yep.
And it's like he's about to walk out there, starts to take a step forward, but then he stops.
He takes out the letter that she wrote.
Yep. So he got the letter.
And we can all breathe a sigh of relief knowing that she got to him in time.
Yep. And you still get those awesome overhead shots saying, like,
Yeah.
emphasizing how everything's changed, and then the birds fly away. It's like a
Mm.
ripple effect in time.
Yeah.
And then we fade back to the lake house. And she sees somebody coming up the driveway. And there he is. And it ends with a passionate kiss.
Yeah. God. She saved your
Like,
fucking life, bro. Yeah.
And he's like,
You get a
"Just-
real strong kiss.
Yeah, he's like, just shut up, okay? I've been waiting for 2 years for this.
4 at this point.
4,
Fucking
yeah,
hell.
4. That's a long time to wait for that. Wait for a kiss. And that's
God.
where our story ends.
Yeah.
Perfect ending for that story.
Absolutely. Just masterfully done. Just
Again, one of the a film that one of Keanu Reeves's and Sandra Bullock's films that just doesn't get as much credit as it deserves.
yeah. Yeah, it's like I said earlier, it's one of those movies I missed at the time, but I'm glad I got around to watching it now because it is a beautiful piece of work. Again, thank
You're
you so
welcome.
much for the recommendation.
Absolutely.
And then we got Lance over here trying to bring down the mood. Is he putting his dick to the post box yet?
Oh,
Oh wait, that's Family Guy.
oh man. Get your
Yeah.
head out of the gutter, man.
Come on, bro. We got Kyle here. The Lake House is perhaps the most understated time travel film I've ever seen. No fancy effects. It's just that's a compliment. Worst on screen sneeze by Keanu, but still the charmer of a film. Good pick, Ian. Absolutely.
Thank you,
Fully
Kyle.
agree there.
Yeah, it was a terrible sneeze.
What you gonna do? Dock at a full point just because you don't like the sneeze.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
man, that was a great conversation.
Absolutely. Again, always a pleasure having you on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on again. Can't wait for our next discussion.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, the next Wednesday I have booked is the 23rd of next month. So maybe I'll bring you on for the 24th or 25th.
All right.
I'm sure we can come up with something by then.
I think so
But,
too.
yeah. But in the meantime, you got any streams that you'll be coming up on here in the near future?
Nothing right now. Nothing right now.
Okay. All right. No worries. You say you got the new job and stuff. That'll give you plenty of time to acclimate to that and do all the wonderful things you can there.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot to look forward to.
Hell yeah. In the meantime, this Sunday, actually, I'll be having a just do the way the scheduling worked. I'll be bringing back uh, somebody that has quite the man crush on Kyle, the uninspired reviewer. I'll be bringing him back to discuss Pinocchio Unstrung and his favorite horror movie, which is apparently Scooby Doo. So, okay, I'm down for that. Let's fucking go. He's always a blast chatting with. So, yeah, that'll be about it for tonight. Let's get on out of here. Again, thank you, Ian, so much for joining me again. It is always such a genuine pleasure. And yeah, thank you, everyone else who popped in to check us out. Thank you, Kyle, Lance, and Miss Sparkles, who popped in very early and dipped as she does. But yeah,
Howdy to you too.
Yeah. Till next time, I guess y'all take care and don't do nothing I wouldn't.
Adios.